I'm Bo Chilton, CEO of Impact Community Action.
Shameika Smith, Vice President of Housing Programs for Impact Community Action.
Yeah, often we want to talk about affordable housing, and when we say that, I think we conjure images of poor people who need to be housed. When we talk about housing affordability, we're really talking about making sure we're building housing that everyone can afford, especially those who are nurses, policemen, managers who work here, who might make $50,000 a year and still can't afford to live here. We need greater affordability. That's whether it's home ownership or rent.
What is clear and what is evident is that people have difficulty affording to live where they work. So we have households that come in every day who have lived in the same place for 15, 5, 20 years, and now the rent has gone up and they can't afford to live there because their wages have not increased. And so every day we see a different story of whether it's a grandmother who's raising grandchildren, whether it's a mother and a father who are raising their children, and whether it's a new American who's come into the country who's looking for a better opportunity. They just are not able to afford to live where they work.
Yeah. So one of the good fortunes that we have here in Central Ohio is that we're a growing city. We're growing at a record pace. You see a lot of employers relocating here, and it's great economically. However, it's put pressure on our housing market. And so the cost of housing has gone up, whether it's home ownership, apartments, all of those things. One population that was really startling to me are seniors. I was shocked to learn from our treasurer, Cheryl Brooks Sullivan, that 70% of the foreclosures in Franklin County went to homes that had no mortgage. Just think about that for a minute. You've worked your whole life to try and build wealth, to own your own home, and to lose it because you can't afford the property taxes. That's a shame. And so that's one of the populations who is being negatively impacted. We're talking about people who are fresh out of college and want to start that first home. That dream has become unrealizable for many. And so we got to do something collectively to address this, because the problem that we're having is structural. The reality is that our population is growing at a faster rate than our ability to build housing in general, let alone affordable housing.
We're also seeing a rise in evictions. There is an astronomical rise that is happening. We are past the pre-pandemic numbers. And every day there is someone who comes in who has missed 1 month because of a decision that they had to make to afford food, to afford childcare, or to afford transportation, and did not pay their rent. And it's also individuals who have a housing choice voucher. They are veterans. They are folk who work in our community, who work in our school districts, who work in our healthcare systems. And they are facing a crisis that the community needs to have a resolution for.
One of the things I just wanted to highlight as well that we're seeing is we owned a single family house that we no longer could manage. So we wanted to sell it to a potential homeowner. We had 14 offers on the property. We bought it about 8 years ago for $49,000. We put it on the market at $149 and actually got an offer of $172. We had 14 offers, all by institutional investors. So that's the other thing that we're seeing is institutional investors are coming up, buying up the housing stock, turning it into rental property, and making home ownership more elusive. So that's another problem that we're having. It really hurt my heart to learn a landlord that we have been working with over the years to help with people who needed help with the rent. A good guy came to us and said he has someone who's squatting in his house and he doesn't know what to do. When he went to find who this person was, it was a teenage mother and her boyfriend who had no place to go. He didn't want to force them out, but he didn't know where to turn to. And so we're trying to work with them. But the reality is that there are a lot of people, and we've seen news articles about this and cast about squatters. If there's an empty place, people are squatting. They're trying to find any place that they can. Our shelters are filling up. We see encampments, particularly if you look along Burliner. It's really tough. So what are we doing to try and address the problems? We do have a very limited rent assistance program. Many people will know us because during the pandemic, we were the go-to agency. We served over 34,000 people and distributed over $134 million. We were able to say yes to virtually everyone and help keep people safe in their homes during the pandemic. Those pandemic dollars have come to an end. So the reality is we just don't have the resources, and we do have to turn people away. However, what we're trying to do is we're trying to be part of the solution. We're trying to build more affordable housing. We partner with Jeffrey Woda at Cooper. They've been a great partner. We're building 102 units of affordable housing. It's called the Enclave at Main in Whitehall. And so we're very excited. Those apartments will come online at the end of this year. We want to do more partnerships with private developers to build more affordable housing. The reality is that we cannot count on a single elected official. We cannot count on a single developer or a nonprofit. I know oftentimes we want to point fingers at what they're not doing, and there's always room for improvement. But the reality is that these problems are structural. And the only way that we're going to truly address it is we as a community have to come together. We have to get involved. We have to participate in our civic associations, participate in the zoning conversations. We need more density, more multifamily housing, and we need neighborhoods that are willing to understand that it's not affordable housing for poor people, it's housing affordability for all of us.
We're also very much advocating with our county and city and state government officials. We engage our community, and so we are actively at the table, at those seats, participating in community-like forums. And we also are providing opportunities every day for individuals who walk through our doors. At Impact, we have a variety of programs and services that our goal is to strengthen the entire household. So whether it is utility assistance, whether it is housing services assistance, home weatherization assistance, energy efficiency assistance, climate justice assistance, workforce development programs. We're here, we're at the table, and we're asking everybody to bring their seat.
Thank you. One question I have for you that was excellent. Just tell me, complete the sentence. I want you to say housing for all to me means, and then.
Housing for all to me means everyone has a place to call home.
Housing for all to me means that housing is a human right.